Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. And Rashee Rice is having himself a camp, Steve. But we can't preface that without saying Kadarius Toney's opening the door for him. Yesterday, we reported Adam Schefter saying that he underwent an off-season cleanup procedure on his knee, aggravated by Sunday when he fielded a punt. Kadarius Toney come in and said, the report is slightly wrong, but I'll definitely be back. So that kicks us into today, Steve. We had Andy Reid on the mic, and he says Andy Reid just shared that Kadarius Toney damaged the meniscus in his knee when he tried changing directions after catching a punt just minutes into Sunday's practice. He then went on to say Kadarius Toney had knee surgery this morning, Tuesday morning, to repair that cartilage. That's the same cartilage that he had worked on in 2022 with the Giants. They then went on to say Reid said he's glad they caught it this early and adds that Toney is smart and the team isn't worried about him missing mental reps. Also clarifies that Toney's cleanup procedure was from the 2022 with the Giants, not this summer. So, Steve, what do you think about it?
Before we get to Kadarius Toney's knee, make sure to hit that sub button if you haven't already. 95% of our viewers have not subscribed. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers before the end of this season. So do your boys a favor. Go click that sub button. Click the like button to get this out to more Chiefs fans. I just like that it clarified up that Kadarius Toney did not have knee surgery in the offseason as a cleanup procedure and then turn around and have to have it again. So The original report from Schefter was wrong, and that's what Kadarius Toney was saying.
Yep.
So it makes more sense to us now. Because at first I thought he had already had a cleanup surgery this offseason, according to Schefter. So I was like, man, this is not good that he already had a procedure done, and now he's hurt again already. But this makes it a little bit better, even though it's still scary when you're talking about a torn meniscus. And then Andy Reid saying that he could get back before the season even starts. So I don't know, man. I guess it's good news, but you have to still be a little concerned about it.
Well, again, this is our wide receiver one, according to the Chiefs organization, and they kept all this under wraps, but there was nothing to keep under wraps. He didn't have the off-season surgery. That's what we were all kind of complaining about yesterday.
Right.
Why would they hide something like that? But come to find out, they did not do that. So Schefter was a little wrong. That's what Kadarius Toney was tweeting about. Why doesn't Kadarius Toney just come out and be like, I didn't have off-season knee surgery? Like, why can't they just be like, everybody speaks in riddles. It's hilarious.
I know. Why is it so hard to be transparent? Like, we've noticed
really
this with the Chris Jones fiasco when he wasn't at the ring ceremony, and now you see it now with Kadarius Toney. It's like, if they just come out and say things in plain English, people would respect it a lot more, and there wouldn't be so much hysteria.
Well, like, did it hurt Kadarius Toney to be like, I didn't have off-season knee surgery? Like, that's all he had to say, rather than the reports are a little wrong or whatever.
Maybe he didn't want to have to clarify that I'm having surgery tomorrow morning.
I guess not.
That's why he didn't say more.
I guess not. But I feel like this is something, again, it's concerning to Chiefs Kingdom because he's your wide receiver one. We talked about this yesterday. He's already back on an injury thing, and Andy said that they think he's good by week one, but are they really going to rush him and push him back?
No.
This is a knee cleanup procedure. He cuts so hard. Why is he taking punt returns in the first place? I know it's protocol, but you just don't do that.
It was literally warm-ups before practice, so think about that for a second. They hadn't even started the practice yet.
Right. So Jordan Foote, at Foot Noted, come out and said he has a list of the injury history for Kadarius Toney. Check this out. In August 2021, hamstring, ankle sprain, week 5, 2021, quad contusion, week 11, 2021, oblique strain, week 12, 2021, shoulder strain, week 16, 2021, knee procedure in the offseason, hamstring, week 2, hamstring, week 11, meniscus, camp. Kadarius Toney cannot stay healthy. And for the Chiefs fans that really just are oblivious to this, and they're like, he just needs time. How much more time can this guy get? He had the entire offseason to get himself healthy, and he catches 4 punt returns, and he's right back in the same situation.
I think it's a lot of people that thought he was just faking injuries over there in New York because he didn't want to be there. And they're just banking on that. And they're like, oh, now he's in Kansas City. He's going to be just fine. He's not going to have all those fake injuries. He's not going to miss all these games. But that's the thing about it, man. I don't think he was faking anything. I think the guy's just a walking injury. Like, you have to be careful with this guy. We see how he plays. He cuts aggressively. He shifts violently. Like, the guy puts a lot of strain on his knees and ankles. We've seen it. And that's exactly what happened. Every injury that he gets, it's like after the catch and when he starts to make a move because of the way this guy plays. And that's what's going on here. And I think it will continue to be a problem. I highly doubt Kadarius Toney will be ready for week 1. I know they keep saying that he might be ready or should be ready by week 1. I don't see it happening. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get into the season, until 3 or 4 games are played.
Is it possible they put him on PUP list IR to start the season?
That's a possibility. I don't know what they're doing with the receiver room. We've talked about, are they going to take 6 receivers? Are they going to take 7 receivers? A lot of people don't think that they will take 7 because they rarely ever take 6. But we've rarely had a problem to where our wide receiver 1, Kadarius Toney, is hurt every week or two. And we have a lot of unproven guys on the team. So it's a different situation this year. So I think right now you have to be leaning towards taking 7 of these guys to compensate for injuries and to allow people like Justin Ross to have a shot on the field. But we see Rashee Rice shining in camp, man, and he's having an opportunity to step up right now as a rookie, which is rare in the Andy Reid offense. So hopefully he runs with it, dude.
Yeah, Rashee Rice has looked really good. I think the whole putting Kadarius Toney on the PUP list thing, I think that transpires if he doesn't start to come back at a good pace. I don't expect it from Kadarius Toney. Let's be honest. I think that would be great to maybe start him in, let him sit for 4 weeks, bring on 6 wide receivers now. He would make the 7th. You could even possibly bring in an extra 7th while he's on the PUP list or whatever it is for the 4 weeks. I think that's a good idea to let guys come in and get them to pass waivers a little bit and get them through the camp process. But yeah, going back to Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice has had himself a camp ever since they reported last week, quarterbacks, rookies. He's impressed. He's impressed. He had the throw-up incident, Chiefs Kingdom come at his throat. He proved it wrong with the conditioning. Andy said he was the first to finish the conditioning test. I think Rashee Rice is on the way to breaking the stigma of the Andy Reid rookie wide receiver. He may have to do that because it's looking like we're not depleted per se, but he's in a situation where I think Rashee Rice can step up in a big way if he comes out and continues to perform with the pads on.
Right. Well, usually, like I said, you have your wide receiver room set, and it's not a big deal. But this year, with the uncertainty, Rashee Rice is obviously one of your best wide receivers on the team. That being said, as a rookie, he's been out there during camp looking like he already has pretty good chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. We've seen catch after catch after catch. We've seen him playing out of the slot. We've seen him make some jump ball catches. We've seen quite a bit of everything so far. And I think if he continues to get better and learn this offense, that's the big thing, man. How fast can he get comfortable in this offense? Because we know it takes time. So it's really up to Rashee and how fast he learns everything, because it's a big learning curve. But I think that he has a golden opportunity to break that stigma, Mike, because Skyy Moore didn't get that chance last year. With Juju and MVS and all those guys, he got in where he could get in, usually when McCole Hardman was hurt.
Yeah.
And that's when we got to see him. But this year, it looks like Rashee Rice is going to start seeing a lot of reps, man, and maybe even first-team reps.
Yeah, Matt Pike actually tweeted, Rashee Rice is going to make an impact this season in a young wide receiver room. Just made an impressive grab on the day in the back of the end zone from Mahomes. Only problem was he couldn't get his feet down for what would have been a score. But he actually did score on a couple other ones. He ran some routes underneath where it looked like he was replacing the Juju row. I'll go ahead and play the Rashee Rice underneath route that he played that looked very similar to Juju. I'll roll that clip. Seen him set down at about 4 or 5 yards, catch it, turn and burn. That's something Rashee Rice is going to be able to do. That looked just like Juju. Here he is catching a touchdown in the back of the end zone from Patrick Mahomes. Look, that was a beautiful ball placed by Mahomes. But you've seen Rashee, it's almost like he gets Mahomes already. You've seen him keep tracking, keeping his eyes on Mahomes, getting open, working to the back of the end zone like he's supposed to do. That's a veteran savvy move right there you've seen from Rashee. And I think Rashee's got all the potential in the world to come in and actually do something this year.
Shout out to KC Sports Network. Follow them on Twitter if you want to see these videos.
Yeah.
They've been really good about getting videos from camp. But yeah, Mike, I like Rashee Rice's ability to track the ball because he gets in all these situations. You can see right there, somehow he still kept his eye on the ball and knew that pass was coming. That's something that's pretty rare for rookies usually. or receivers in general. So I do like that quality about him. And it looks like him and Mahomes are getting along just fine. So I think that he'll be able to step in as a rookie and get more work than we would have expected before. But it really just depends. If Kadarius Toney does come back in week 1 or even week 2 or 3 and settles in and does not get hurt again or re-injure that knee, then I think you're still not going to see Rashee Rice getting a big work overload. But now if it were to be a long-term thing with Kadarius Toney and he only plays 3-4 games this entire season, I think Rashee Rice has got an opportunity to go out there and be huge as a rookie.
Well, here's the thing. With Kadarius Toney maybe not absorbing so many snaps in the preseason, not absorbing so many snaps at the early in the regular season, it lets Rashee Rice kind of get acclimated a little better than what we've seen Skyy Moore do last year. There was a little bit of a scare with Rashee Rice when the day started, though. A lot of people were noticing that he had a wrap on his leg. I'll roll this footage. You're going to see some wide receiver drills. Watch Rashee Rice's right leg, I believe. I'll roll it. You can see him in the background. He's the right leg. He's got the white wrap. It's the little compression sleeve.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, man. It looks more like a compression sleeve, nothing like a wrap. I don't think it's anything to necessarily worry about. Right.
If you play, and I tweeted this, if you play, you're around the sport, you'll know that those compression wraps are to keep your muscles from jiggling and bouncing. It keeps them very compressed, hence the name compression wrap. What that does is it keeps fatigue muscles. It helps with fatigue muscles. It keeps you from cramping. It's just for when you're having some tough workouts. And these guys have now, Rashee Rice has been here for a week doing this every day. I'm sure he's a little sore. His body's not used to it. This is all stuff that's precautionary, but it's nothing crazy. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about it, and they were a little concerned. Nothing to be concerned about there. You've seen him, perform the same way he did and better today than usual. Rashee Rice is going to be very good in this offense, I believe, if not this year, for sure in the years to come. So I think Brett Veach actually, from what I can see so far, actually really did hit on a good wide receiver here. And with Skyy Moore, we all see Skyy Moore's going to break. That's easy to see. So these two guys leading our wide receiver room with MVS now, I think we're in a good spot, even if Kadarius Toney misses substantial time.
Right, and I don't think people should freak out about that compression wrap on his leg anyway, because we all know with the situation that's going on, the Chiefs are going to be extra conservative when it comes to injuries and things like that, especially with the wide receiver core. So I think if there was something actually going on with his knee, even if it was minor, I doubt they would even have him on the field today. So I wouldn't worry about it. And like you said, he looks just as good as he always has so far. And it's going to be a big camp for him. And I'm with you. Skyy Moore is going to break out this year. I think it's going to be the year of the young guys, man. People's been calling for it over and over again. And I think they're about to get a heavy dose of it. And I think these guys are going to step up to the plate.
Right. Another young guy, Charles Goldman, has actually told us to keep an eye out for Kekoa Crawford. It was tweeted today. Matt McMullen says Kekoa Crawford just made a tremendous leaping catch over the middle during an 11-on-11. One of the best plays of the day so far. Nobody got footage of it, at least as the time we're recording. I was not able to get the footage of it. But from the sounds of it, Kekoa with the catch. He's a big special teams guy. So again, another young guy, another wide receiver stepping up. And again, Kadarius Toney maybe has opened the door now for some of these guys on the bubble to show what they got. Kadarius Toney really has to get it together this year and figure it out, because if he doesn't get it together and play for a long period without, if he don't buck this trend of injuries over and over, he will not get another contract with Brett Veach and the Chiefs. But speaking of another nice wide receiver camp battle, we were all excited about the running backs. Pacheco still wearing the yellow jersey. He's not out there taking any kind of hits or running the contracts. So we seen this today. Christian Martinez says Prince was working with the first team unit for the Chiefs. And then we also seen Matt Pike 7-on-7 drills, seeing more impressive reps from Deneric Prince, including a nice catch on the sideline with an impressive spin move to get away from the defender. So everybody's like, look, Prince is going to take that number one spot if Pacheco misses time. Clyde's out the door. We've already heard this over and over. Well, Pete Sweeney goes on to say, Chiefs run 5 run plays to start the 11-on-11. Pacheco's held back 3 to Clyde, 1 to Prince, 1 to McKinnon. So there it is. Once they start the 11-on-11, here comes trusty old Clyde running 3 out of the 5.
It's going to happen. Everybody just needs to accept that fact. And it's not a bad thing. Everybody can be mad at Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he's injury prone. They can be mad at him because he didn't go to the Super Bowl parade. But he's still a running back that knows this offense. He's been in it for 4 years now. And Andy Reid loves the guy. He's going to be productive if he's in there. He's going to get first-team reps. He's going to be the RB1 if Pacheco's not RB1 on the field. It just is what it is. Now, to Derek Prince, he's going to do a good job. I mean, everything we've seen about this guy, he's just super athletic. He's huge. Like, he's everything he needs to be, and he works hard. But I think everybody's got to temper the expectations a little bit with Derek Prince getting that many opportunities as a running back. I think we'll see him more as a kick returner, and we might see him on the field a little bit early if Pacheco misses any time. But other than that, I don't think you're going to see him just a whole lot. But, I mean, there's a lot to be excited about, so I understand where everybody's coming from. But I just don't see him getting that many opportunities unless there are injuries in the running back room.
Right. Well, the story of the day was the defense. The defense had themselves a day today. It started off with this one. Matt Pike tweets again, the defense and offense are working separately. Noticing the defensive side of the ball, Nick Bolton is looking quicker, getting back into coverage, and also looking more comfortable as a leader on defense. We also seen a big play from Najee Johnson yesterday that earned him some first-team reps today. Looking to me early like Najee Johnson is going to look at first-team defense Tuesday. Had 3 pass breakups on Blaine Gabbert Monday. Not to be outdone, Josh Williams, he said, nay. Josh Williams against John Ross tipped a Blaine Gabbert pass to himself, picked it off. They said it was very reminiscent of the one against Joe Burrow in the AFC Championship game. And then we had another big story. Nick Jones, DB, 7th-round pick, intercepts Mahomes on a 7-on-7 drill targeting Travis Kelce. Actually have footage of that. I will go ahead and roll that right now. It's a nice-looking interception. You're going to see him lined up right now. It looks like he's a little outside of Richie James.
No, he just read Mahomes big time.
Look, he read Mahomes. I tweeted this out today. I was like, Kelce ran a lazy route right there. That was completely lazy.
Well, it's camp.
Yeah, exactly. But he went around the edge. At first, I thought it was Noah Gray, and I really lit Noah Gray up. And I was like, Noah, come on, you got to do better. It was Travis Kelce. But I don't think Travis Kelce even thought the ball was coming to him. It looked like maybe it was a clear out. I'll roll it one more time so you guys can watch it. But check out Travis. He don't even look to the ball. And Mahomes is visibly upset. Like, what is going on? Like, so Travis, he must have had a long night last night. Watch, you'll see him. Nick Jones keeping his eye on it. Look, Kelce didn't even look up. He just didn't even look up.
Let's not blame it all on Kelce because that ball should have never been thrown by Mahomes. But no, that was a good play by Nick Jones. I'm excited for the defensive back room. There's so much good young talent, and we've talked about how's it going to shake out, which guys are going to step up and get their opportunities in camp to maybe make this 53-man roster. I like to see Najee Johnson doing a good job in coverage, actually playing the cornerback position, which is where they've kind of shifted him to. He came out of college as a safety, and he can play safety, but he's been playing corner for the Chiefs, and he's also a gunner on special teams, and everybody knows he's good at that. Dave Toe bragged on him all the time. So, yeah, him and Nick Jones, they got to do their thing to make this 53-man roster, and it looks like they're out there giving it their best shot, man, and I'm excited to see how that room shakes out just as much as any other position.
Well, we said Nick Jones, he's kind of the Najee of last year. He was the 7th-round DB. He's got to fight to get himself on the roster. After practice, he was working with Snead. He was working with McDuffie. He's putting in the work. They are trying to coach him along. They see good things out of Nick Jones. Nick Jones is a ball hawk, and we said he had to keep up with Najee. Najee yesterday is having an incredible day and comes out and gets first-team reps today. I know this is early in the year, and they're just wanting to, go through the motions and see everybody in every position, give them their chances to work. But Nick Jones has to have a good camp. And after Najee, I like the fact that Najee comes out, plays with the first team after a good day yesterday, and Nick Jones, not to be outdone, keeps his head up, has a great play against Travis Kelce and Mahomes. I mean, come on, that's the elite right there he's working with, and he comes out and picks them off. Great job by Nick Jones. But another guy on the back end, Trent McDuffie, can't forget him. They said he just recorded an athletic diving PBU on a quick pass on a sideline 11-on-11. Him and Mahomes have been going at it a little bit this camp. I love to see it. The other big surprise on the day, and it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise. Everybody, we finally got our first big Drew Tranquil sighting. Drew Tranquil with pass breakups on back-to-back plays during 11-on-11. Excited about this dude. Matt Derrick goes on to say Drew Tranquil has had himself a day. Just had breakups on back-to-back plays and was kicking himself on not coming up with an interception on the second one. So it's looking like Drew Tranquil, Steve, finally getting his footing, finally getting out there. It's looking like they're going to use him at the middle linebacker position to actually do a lot of coverage stuff that Nick Bolton had to do last year that he didn't look comfortable doing. And then also, he could be playing that other position there where Willie Gay usually sometimes plays. This guy could get a lot of snaps this year. He really could. I think Drew Tranquil could possibly lead the room in snaps.
He definitely could because he's the little Swiss Army knife of the linebacker room, right? He does everything well. He's just an all-around good football player. He's smart. He's going to pick up on this defense pretty quickly. And he's got leadership skills, man. That goes a long way. And I want to go ahead and give props to Nick Bolton, too, because this guy has been absolutely legendary in his first 2 years as a Chief. And I think that he's going to continue to get even better, man. I think he's starting to build up some confidence because Nick Bolton, he's kind of a shy, humble guy. Right. He's not going to do a whole lot, but it looks like he's coming out of his shell just a little bit this year. He's gaining some confidence. He's starting to get a little bit of recognition from people around the league and media.
Right.
And I think it's time for him to go out there and really step it up a notch. And I think this linebacker room, dude, I'm pumped about it. It's the best one we've had in years. And I think, there's still Willie Gay as well, who's going to be is he on his contract year this year?
Yeah, I think so.
So, they got to go out and show out, man. And the one that we haven't mentioned, Leo, I think Leo could have a good second year. We saw him coming on at the end of his rookie season when he got a little bit more comfortable. So we'll see how he does this year.
Right. We got the rookies back there working too. Cam Jones, Isaiah Moore. Isaiah Moore had to go to the medical tent today. He tweaked something today. Hope that doesn't become a problem for him.
Hanging out with Kadarius Toney too much.
Yeah. Isaiah Moore's got a good shot of making this roster, at least practice squad-wise. So I hope that doesn't affect him. We heard today in the pressers after it, we heard from Andy Reid. He talked about Kadarius Toney a little bit. We also heard from Mahomes. We got a little picture of Mahomes. The beautiful thing is they have moved the wiener mic, and
yes,
we cannot be more happy about that.
I think that we were probably the culprits for that. I would guarantee you, because I know that Rashee and Nazi and some of the guys have watched some of our recent
they were probably
videos.
Like, guys, we got to move it.
Yeah, I think the wiener mic got mentioned to someone who could actually do something about it.
I mean, it was blatantly fluffy and obvious. But Pete Sweeney says Patrick Mahomes says he remains optimistic about Kadarius Toney's impact on 2023. He said the key is that Toney will be in the building and will still be involved in meetings. Wouldn't name a name, but he said several receivers will fit that role in the meantime. So I feel like the Kadarius Toney row, we've already said it. The Juju row is probably Skyy Moore mixed with a little Rashee. What does Kadarius bring you? I think it's Richie James, and I think Richie James may have a very big increased role going forward.
Absolutely. And, we're always saying stuff like the Juju role and this role and that role. And Andy Reid's offense, let's be honest, they have to all know every role.
Yeah,
because he kind of just does everything. I mean, if you looked at that interception that you just showed with Nick Jones, Kelce was lined up wide. You never know where you're going to be on this offense. So, but I think that Richie James can fill the void that Kadarius Toney has because he is kind of twitchy and quick and can do some of the things that Kadarius Toney can do. Maybe not to that magnitude, but he can do those things. So I think we're fine with what we got, even if Kadarius Toney does not play whatsoever. Like we said yesterday, if you drop him completely out of the conversation, if Kadarius Toney did not even exist, I think our receivers are still in a pretty decent spot. There's just going to be some young guys that have to step up early, like Rashee Rice. And also, we still have Justin Ross hanging around, man. If they put him on this roster to see if he can do well, and he were to be able to do the things that people think he can do and stay healthy as well, dude, our wide receiver room could be pretty badass, with a lot of young guys.
Every camp, we have those guys that stick out and they get a lot of buzz and a lot of hype. And sometimes it comes to fruition, sometimes it doesn't. We've yet to see Justin Ross have a day to where he's just hyped. We've seen it now from Skyy Moore a little bit.
We heard him that he was taking reps with team, the first team.
But nothing major.
The first day, but we haven't really heard anything else.
So far, I think the biggest camp hype has been to Richie James on day one, and then Rashee Rice has been a pleasant surprise,
having a camp,
to be honest. Jet McKinnon was at the mic today a little bit. Again, wiener mic removed. Pete Sweeney says Jarrett McKinnon said at this stage of his career, Weenie, he is very smart, with what he does between the end of practice until the next day. So treatment, cold tub, etc. McKinnon referenced his QB background for his knowledge of the Chiefs' playbook and ability to get teammates in position. So it looks like Jet just bringing his savvy leadership. I think that's big for Deneric Prince. I really do. But that's also what Clyde brings you as well. And that's why I just think Clyde is a lock to make this roster right now. Between him and McKinnon, those two were your starters last year. People forget Pacheco was not the starter. Clyde started the season against Arizona week 1. And that's the way it's probably going to be this year too.
Right. Well, it's good to see that Jerick McKinnon's taking care of his old body the way he should be. Because he's getting the old man River. What's he, 32 years old now? No, but in all seriousness, Jerick McKinnon, it's good to have him around still. There's a couple of names I haven't heard that much about in camp yet that I would like to hear more of. One of them being Jerry and Ely. You know I'm a big fan.
Right.
I think that he could eventually be to the Chiefs what Jerick McKinnon is to the Chiefs now. And I would like to see him kind of under Jerick McKinnon's wing, learning a lot of this offense, learning how to pick up these blitzes and everything like that on the pass protection. And like Jerick McKinnon said, he has a quarterback background, so it's easier for him to see things like that. And I would love to hear more that Jerick McKinnon's been working with Jerry and Ely and things like that. That would be great to me. And the other guy, kind of off subject, but I still haven't heard anything out of Khalif Hallisey, the UDFA from Western Kentucky University. I haven't heard his name not one time in camp, and that's a cornerback that I think that we could look out for.
Yeah, well, with the corners, I haven't heard much from him. I haven't heard much from Isaiah Norman or Echo Boyd-Doe. I've not heard much from those guys. As you said, Jerry and Ely had one play on day 1, I believe, and they said it would have been for a touchdown. So
they're still kind of running. They're still kind of running him as a slot receiver right now. But I would love to see him blend back over. We all know he was a running back coming out of college.
Right.
I'd like to see him blend back over and maybe take over what Jerick McKinnon's doing, because McKinnon's not going to be around forever.
For sure. Charles Omenihu also spoke to the media today. He's a big boy. Straight
he's
up.
Also,
he's
I've
huge.
also noticed he's a honey badger on Twitter. Got to be careful there, buddy.
Pete Sweeney says
Or
Charles
X.
Omenihu provided one word for what he expects for when pads come on: physicality. He said defensive line coach Joe Cullen has really preached pushing himself, getting the most out of him. I'm excited to see what Omenihu can do. Everybody's kind of overlooked him a little bit. The pads come on Friday. It is confirmed. Friday. We get some pads. So we've got 2 more days of practice, and then the pads come on. But yeah, this is going to be what separates. The pads are the great equalizer. It's when the offensive line, the defensive line get to shine a little bit. It's when you know how tough your receivers are really going to be. It's when you know how your defense is going to look. So Friday, we got a lot, to see then. But yeah, Omenihu, I'm really happy and excited to see what he can bring. Spags was running a lot of. He experimented with some 3-down linemen today. So he did that last year a little bit. Yeah, he did it. Ron Kopp had actually posted a really good tweet. Go find him on Twitter. He had posted where they did that last year, and they had actually experimented with it on the Derek Carr sack fumble that they took away from Chris Jones. They had actually experimented with a 3-down lineman right there. So maybe they're messing with it a little bit more because Omenihu swings inside and out. He's a big guy.
They have a lot of guys that can do that. But yeah, I'm excited for what Omenihu can bring to the team as well. We know he's coming off his best year as a pro with the 49ers last season, so maybe he can keep that momentum going. And he seems to have all the confidence in the world right now, so hopefully he can get out there and really do his thing, man, because he has all the opportunity in the world to do it. They have a very young defensive line. If you really look at the whole thing, we got George Karlaftis, Felix, Keandre Coburn. There's so many young guys on that line that he is one of our older guys. He's one of our vets. So he's really got to get out there and show them that he's learning quick and that he's putting in the work and that he can be kind of a leader on that line if they don't go out and get another vet.
Right. So play of the day today. A lot of people said it was Nick Jones. I've been holding out this clip because I wanted to showcase Skyy Moore just being a beast out there.
Yes.
I want you to look at this elite defensive back he beats to the pylon and gets this touchdown on. Congrats, Skyy. You get play of the day. Here we go.
It's Skyy Moore season, baby. I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Look at that elite DB he beats to the pylon. I'm just saying, Skyy Moore, he puts those moves like that on anybody. Ain't nobody can touch him. And, before we go, a lot of people saying we need some wide receiver help. Hey, an ex-Chief wide receiver got signed today. Surprise, surprise. The Commanders are signing free agent wide receiver Byron Pringle to a 1-year deal. Some help right before camp. So Bieniemy picks off an old Chief name. I don't think we were ever going to see Byron
No.
Pringle back with the Chiefs anyway. I don't think we're in that dire needs of a wide receiver.
Absolutely not. I think we're pretty solid. Just some bumps in the road, man. It's typical off-season stuff. It just so happens to be a little more scary when it's a guy that's supposed to take over a big role and he's got a bad injury history. Other than that, I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary.
Right. So with that, Kadarius Toney, get healthy, man. Just get healthy. And you guys be sure to watch whatever video YouTube thinks you're going to like. Thanks for subscribing, clicking that bell. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.